traders, Joseph here from Eightcap. Welcome to this week's Trade Zone Asian Session Outlook. So we'll just start with some of the things that are going on so far this morning. So we've seen some gaps lower this morning from risk currencies to the USD. We're seeing mixed trade from risk to the Japanese yen, but the Aussie, for instance, is trading the lowest at the moment to the US dollar, and we can see these gaps here. And this is after a smaller close on Friday's session. So this could be due to the protests that are spreading throughout China. This could be having a bit of an effect on risk markets this morning with with civil unrest starting to emerge, especially in Shanghai and a few other cities in China. Lockdowns continue to be enforced in China, so that could be a reason for a small tick against risk currencies at this stage. But we'll just have to see how the day progresses and when the dollar index comes back online for this week. So we do hope you had a excellent weekend. Now, we had Black Friday in the US and Thanksgiving in the US over the weekend. So Black Friday sales topped $9 billion, setting a new record. So those online sales. And we saw a bit of a shift in Taiwan with the presidential poll ruling party being beaten. So that was the opposition beating the current government in that province, and that could have that could be an interesting development, as it could show a bit of a shift in Taiwan. So that party that did win that election have been seen as more pro Beijing, but they have denied that, but they have been seen as being more pro-China than the current ruling government. Now, just looking at some of the figures so far this morning as discussed. So we've seen these gaps lower. We are seeing the euro and the pound trying to start to fill those gaps. But, the market, those gaps are in play and they still remain lower. The dollar CAD had a nice gap higher today. Now, Friday's session was pretty firm, and this is all due to weaker oil prices. So we can see another leg lower on oil on Friday, and we're right back down in this support area here. So we do see a break at that level. Quite an interesting development, and then we'll be really wondering then if we do break this low and set new monthly lows, if oil is looking to go back to possibly go down test 70. So we'll have to keep an eye on oil this week to see if buyers are able to break this level at 76.50, and if they can continue this downtrend that's currently price is trading in. Excuse me. So gold so far this morning is trading lower now. We did talk about this continuation last week. That was after the FOMC meeting minutes, and we did see a couple bars up, a pretty flat day on Friday. And we do really want to see if buyers can take that next step, and if they can't, there's a small worry that this could be a lower high and we could see a new move down. A lot will then come down to the dollar. So we can see the dollar has just opened this morning, the dollar index, and we still see support down at 105.70. And until that level is broken by sellers, we'll be continuing to see if the dollar can continue to try and gain some momentum and push higher. We really need just a break of 105.65 and a bit lower, just to really signal that the dollar is going to continue its decline. It's a bit of it's not a worry, but it's just trying to tell us something now that potentially dollar bears could be running out of gas, and that we could see another fight back from the dollar like we saw a week ago with this rally here. And with the yen so far today, things are mixed. The Aussie is trading the weakest. For some reasons it's being targeted as the heaviest, so we did see that real big gap this morning. We have seen a push higher, and we are seeing some gains from the euro to the yen, and we are seeing a small decline from the pound to the yen at this point in the morning. So the dollar yen at this stage is trading higher. And now, just as the dollar index, we can see that support at 138.49, and again, until that's broken, we'll be looking to see if buyers can continue to push higher, and that's the support point we'll be watching at this stage during the week. Now, over the stocks, so markets were closed on Friday. A lot of focus was on European markets. We did see some buying on the German 30. Over in Europe, we saw a bit of a mixed session. So the DAX cash market closed just a tick higher, with 1.82 points. The FTSE gained 20 and the CAC gained 5. The stocks 50 gained just under half a point, and we had a bit of a mixed result for some of the other markets. So we saw the FTSE MIB drop 12 points, and we saw the PSI drop 2.17 points. So at this stage in the morning, we are seeing futures trading a little bit lower, and that sort of is just really following that overtone with a bit of anti-risk sentiment at this stage in the Asian session. So we are seeing the US 30, which is a CFD market we offer that tracks the futures, that's down 0.18%, and we'll be looking to see the ASX has just started to come online now, and it is down 17.4 points at this stage, and it's not a real surprise considering that risk markets are not in demand at this stage in the day. So cryptocurrencies are also starting to tick lower. We'll get to them in more detail in a moment, but with some of the stock indices, let's just have a look at some areas that we may be looking at this week, and we'll start with the US 30. And we'll just jump that on. So we can just see that gap lower on the US 30. Now we are seeing, we did see a break on Friday with the futures of 34,257, which was the high set back in August. So out of the three key US main, large indexes in the US, the Dow's the only one to really break this high at this stage, and it is quite a way off. If you do believe in mean reversion, I do subscribe to it, but it's by no means a future predictor, so it's really just a price positioning, and like with all moving averages, you can put in a different moving average to increase its position to price. But the one I primarily watch is the 17 period, and at the moment we can see price is a fair way off it. We can see during the trend that it will come back to it, so we are wondering now if price has gotten a little bit away from it at this stage after last week's really strong results and strong trade to the upside, and we will just see this week if something does come out to maybe stall that, and if we do see a bit of a pullback. So I'm definitely not saying it's a sell, but I'm definitely also saying that maybe it's best to give the market a little bit of time to see if we need more evidence really to suggest that there is a buy, or more evidence to suggest that there is a sell. But for at this stage in the morning, it is still trading above that August high, and we've just jumped down to the Nasdaq and the S&P. So the Nasdaq futures had a decline last Friday, and this is the resistance area we're going to watch this week. It's 11,900. We are trading with a gap lower this morning, and we do see support down at 11,546. The S&P 500, this is the SPX 500 that is a mix. Tracks the cash and futures, so we can see that resistance here at 40.40, and again we can see that support there at 39.46. So we can see that both those two markets are looking quite different at the moment from the US 30. There's been a lot of drive on the US 30. The S&P is obviously doing a little bit better, but the NDX 100, being 100% tech, has been really lagging at this stage. So over to let's check out some of the other main European markets and some of the Asian markets. So this morning, the Nikkei is down at this stage. We'll just update that, and we can see that second day of decline. So depending if we do see a big round of selling, we can see some short-term resistance at 28,383. We would think that it's going to follow the general feel of the market so far this morning. So if markets do continue to push lower, we'll look for this to continue to be lower as well. Also hampering it looks like a semi-strong Japanese yen at this stage, with some gains to some of the risk markets, but down to the dollar. And potentially, if we did see a bit of a push down, we could see 28,100 come in as support. And the Hong Kong 50, it could be interesting today on the Chinese indexes. We could see a fair bit of selling with what's going on in China at the moment. So definitely keep an eye on those indexes if that's something you do follow and trade. We did see a pretty decent session lower on Friday. There is some really minor short-term support at 17,425 on the HK50. Probably be thinking that if markets are pushing lower today in China, that we could see that tested or broken. And then we have some short-term resistance here at 17,778, and we'll be keeping an eye on those two levels today to see what happens with them after the open. Now just moving on. So cryptocurrencies at this stage, we're seeing some minor declines. We had a pretty flat weekend. Sorry. We are seeing, the key currencies in a bit of a range. So that's Bitcoin and Ethereum. We need to see a break of that, those resistance points to sort of see if this leg can keep going. It wouldn't surprise me if we did see a pullback, but then we'd like to see a high low and a break of resistance. Now, the best coin, it's also one of the heaviest being sold today, but one of the best performers last week was definitely Binance Coin. It is lower this morning, but we can see this really strong run up. So again, we've got to break this downtrend here. We'd be looking for higher lows off retracements to come back and test this high and then break and continue higher. That's if buy momentum does return. And Solana, which also had a really good one day last week, we continue to see this flat range and that resistance at 14.48. So buyers need to break that level to get the that push back on track. So now we'll just jump into some of the news that's going on this week. We'll just leave it on the dollar index at this stage. Again, we just really want to see if buyers can defend that level or if it does get broken. Now, some of the key things that may come in to boost the US dollar or hurt it this week, it will definitely be Friday's non-farm payroll. That's the key, the key data release for the USD this week. And at this stage, we're looking at average earnings expected to come at 0.3%, payrolls at 200k, and unemployment to remain steady at 3.7. So the payrolls are expected to come in lower by around 61,000. So also that day we have Canadian employment change and unemployment, and during the week, that's on Saturday morning, local time in Australia. So we have on Friday, early Friday morning, the core PCE price index, and that's looking to become at 0.3%. ISM manufacturing will come out later on Friday as well at 2 a.m. And then we also have RBA governor speaking, and we do have the governor speaking from the New Zealand Reserve Bank. Now, coming up today, we have the governor of the RBA speaking as well. It was at 10 o'clock, and we have Canadian GDP coming out on Wednesday, and we have Governor Bailey speaking on Wednesday, and US CB consumer confidence coming out as well. So now USD news as well on Thursday. Sorry, it's a bit mixed up and muddled today. We have the ADP non-farm employment change. Obviously, that is a prelude to the non-farm payrolls, and we have US prelim GDP. It's expected to come in slightly higher at 2.8%. So there's a few things coming out this week. It's not as spicy to say as some weeks prior, but definitely there's a couple good ones there to keep an eye on, and Governor Bailey speaking could be one, and some of the comments from the RBA as well. So the RBA's comments this morning don't look to be having any real massive impact on the Aussie. It's been trading lower since it opened on its gap, and we'll just have to see some of these influences that are coming out of Asia, if they continue to influence during the Asian session, if we do see a bit of a fight back. But definitely, as we can see in some of the stock indexes and on the US dollar, that it does look like it could be buyers are trying to push a small momentum shift, but they'll need some influences to back them up as they keep going. Now, we're going to wrap it up there. We thank you very much for your time. We hope you have a fantastic trading week and you all have a lovely weekend. If you do like our content and you want to see our live presentations from our guest presenters like Aaron Silver, for instance, and Trader Nick, please make sure that you subscribe, and they continue to put out some fantastic analysis, and it's very popular, so make sure you subscribe to check those out. So until Friday's weekly wrap, I wish you a fantastic trading week. Thank you again for your time this morning, and wish you all the best for your trading this week. So thank you, and bye for now.